Mike Villigoma's behind the technology, and myself, Tyler Matsanani, filling in for Chris while he's on leave. Joining us in the Zoom room, we have Senator Sabina Perez. Good morning, Senator. Oh, let me tune on that Zoom. Sorry, it's been a while since I've had to press any buttons. We're all good now.
Today, Senator, thanks for coming on this morning and giving us some updates on some of the things that you've been working on. And I wanted to start first with, we were getting calls about the the Advanced Child Tax Credit payments that were supposed to be processed on the 15th. And, we did talk to Reverend Tax, and they did say that, yes, they did. They processed them on the date they were supposed to be processed. Then it goes to DOA and the mail and everything else. And it'd be about 2 weeks or so before those payments would be getting into the hands of residents. But there was something else they said, that there was some issues with direct deposit, that they're no longer doing that. What have you heard is the issue behind this?
So yes, I heard that DRT is sending out notifications to many of the, the filers or the applicants. It had to do with the change in a routing number for one of the banks, I believe. Not sure if that's the case for all of them, but of course that is one of the big reasons, I think. They couldn't do direct deposit.
Mm-hmm.
So they are resolving the issue.
Okay. Have you heard anything new with the procurement of that financial management system? I mean, because we hear about the millions that are coming for the infrastructure law, and then we've got the BBB. That's a whole lot of money that Guam and everywhere else in the country is expecting to receive. And, this was supposed to be procured because it's a state of emergency, right? So have you heard any updates from the Department of Administration?
Yes, so they are, it's with the AG's office. Is under review, currently under review because it's over $500,000. And I believe they're about to release it soon, perhaps this week. That's what I heard. As soon as it clears the AG's review.
Mm-hmm. Have you heard how much it's going to cost?
Actually, I don't know that. I don't know the cost of that. I think with RFPs, the way it works is they have to negotiate the cost. So the way RFPs work is very different from bidding. The bidding process. The bidding process is lowest bidder. For the RFP, they're looking for the best qualified, and once they pick that, then they negotiate a price. If it matches a price that we can afford, then that person or that company then gets the award, or gets awarded the contract. If they don't fit within our budget constraints, then it goes to the next ranked applicant.
Mm-hmm. So
or offer.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's good. It's been a long time, and as you mentioned, hopefully this week we'll be hearing something and some movement on that. I don't know if you heard earlier or maybe even watched the press conference last Friday, the governor mentioning that we might actually see this plan being rolled out this week for ARP. How excited are you about finally knowing, like everybody else, what's going to happen with all this money, even though we got kind of a preview with that BBMR report that was issued?
Yeah, I think this is very critical. It would have been nice to have seen it, during the budget talks, but we are coming upon another budget cycle really soon, so that can inform this upcoming budget. Yeah, my hope is that we can, energize our economy. Obviously, we're seeing a slump in our biggest industry, tourism. So hopefully we can diversify our economy. With the plan that they have in place. Mm-hmm. In addition to providing subsidies and support, we really need to invest in creating new jobs, diversifying our economy.
Mm-hmm. Did you see that in the release over the weekend about the $345 million, right, in the BBB it's still in that measure. And so the governor was saying something along the lines of, well, they kind of recalculated, and now we're looking at 220 million possibly being used, and then we're going to go borrow, I guess, the rest to make up the difference for the construction of that new healthcare facility in Eagles Field. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think the more money we can get through grants and other, without having to go and borrow money, the better off we are, because it's a premium. The financing cost is a premium. It doubles the amount pretty much over the life of the bond that we're going to borrow. It doubles the amount of money that we have to pay. So the more that we can direct these grants towards that, the better off we are. So that's my hope, is that, we can reduce the cost to our taxpayers. Guam has a poverty level of about 23%, and, costs are rising all around. We're seeing supply chain issues, which increases the cost of goods. So we really need to be cognizant of the burden that we're placing not only on our generation, but future generations to pay this off.
And I think I saw you in that oversight hearing last week regarding with the Guam Ancestral Lands Commission and the Department of Land Management. What's your takeaways from that? Because it was pretty emotional when the original landowners and the heirs, they started coming on and they were giving their testimony and, essentially trying to send this message to the governor that, they want their land, or even, just compensation.
Yeah, it's really sad that, first of all, I think the government really needs to live up to its policy of, returning the lands to the original landowners. It's not right to perpetuate injustice. And this is something that, I think we need to make right. If we have every opportunity to do so, we should do so. Make right past injustices. And the landowners should be, they need to be, included in this discussion. I don't support circumventing that process, for that reason. And I think, being, one of those, descendants of land in which land was taken away from, I think that's something that a principle that I believe is that we need to help assist righting those wrongs to the best that we can.
Yeah, and you heard it from, I think it was Mr. LaGuatnia, and I think the vice chair of the chair. They were so passionate, right, with, knowing what they got to do and wanting to do, what they were created to do. But then you hear on the other side where Mr. Birch, the director of Ancestral Lands, was like, hey, look, we need the staff. We need the funds, right? Is it something that the legislature is looking at doing so that they can do their jobs?
That's something we can work towards. I know that's one of the questions that Senator Tydegui was mentioning. It's like, what about consolidating these agencies so they can support each other? So, I think this is something that I recall maybe I have to look back and see what the budget contained, but I think we were really advocating for more money towards land surveyors.
Yeah.
But I think going back to also, we talk about war reparations, right? What about land reparations? I think, this is so much more, this is just as powerful, right?
Mm-hmm.
One of the people that came to testify, Elsie Flores, there is a living, person who could get the land back, right? So that's a very powerful thing. We have the opportunity to make things right for her. But going back to the funding, this is definitely something that we can look at, and I am looking forward to speaking to the oversight chair to see how we can, as well as the Senator San Augustine, who oversees appropriation, to see how we can assist with that.
And just wanted to get you on the follow-up to the FOIA that you sent related to the burn permit.
Yes, so I did get a response. A lot of documents were the ones that I produced, so letters and emails to Guam EPA. There was some information regarding, so basically there wasn't a change in their response to me from what I saw. But in speaking to the administrator, he is working with US EPA to require more. They're working out a plan with US EPA to hold the military more accountable as far as doing more testing in that area for any contamination. So that is something that that has come out of this effort, in my effort to, my opposition to the bird permit, and my request to really look for alternatives, because there are alternatives that can contain the contamination, whereas with open burning, open detonation, it's just releasing those contaminants into the environment. We're talking about highly carcinogenic substances like uranium and strontium, and the release of lead too as well, so which are harmful. And keep in mind, these open burning was done from 1982 onward to 2002, I believe. And from that point, it ended. So, why are we starting up open burning? They should at least, not approve that portion of the permit if it hasn't been utilized. And with the open detonation, there are safer, cleaner technologies that can be utilized.
Was there anything else before we let you go?
Oh, just working on a lot of projects. I do have a public hearing coming up on Wednesday. It's a confirmation hearing as well as a hearing for a moratorium on deep sea mining. So, there is basically a push to mine the deep ocean, the floor, the sea floor, for any kind of metals. And this is really a big issue because we don't know all the overall impacts it will have to our fisheries, for one thing. It could definitely disrupt fisheries. It could disrupt definitely the biodiversity in the deep ocean, which is very unique. And we don't know to the full extent of the impacts. And it's so important that we incorporate precautionary principle. Before we do anything, we need to know the full impacts of something before it can cause irreparable harm to the very life support. The other thing it could disrupt, it could exacerbate climate change. Our oceans really absorb a lot of the carbon. It's a huge carbon sink, and we don't know the effect that would have. It could potentially release a lot of greenhouse gases that can then speed up the global warming that's occurring right now. And with all the awareness and emphasis on trying to prevent any kind of further rise in temperatures, which has huge impacts, social, environmental, health impacts. It's really important that we put a pause on any kind of mining of the deep oceans. Right now, there isn't any mining. There's exploration, but what could potentially happen within 2 years is a heavy mining of our ocean floors, and this affects everybody. So it's very important that we call upon international community to put a moratorium on until we really know, and until we can really determine the full impacts of this.
All right, thank you so much, Senator. What time's that hearing?
That's at 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock. Okay. Thank you so much. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you, and happy Thanksgiving to you and the listening audience. Have a great day. Take care.
Take care. Stay tuned. We're going to take a break, but up next, we're going to be heading to San Francisco for our next guest. We're super excited.